How to make prayer ties, part 2. Remember, we left off with our clove hitch. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to make the actual tie with this red string because it contrasts well on the video. I was going to use black, but black, as you can see with my black shirt, doesn't do too well. So let's do white. We'll do white cloth, which is symbol for either the north direction in some traditions or the south directions in other traditions. Some of the Lakota teachings vary from place to place. The Lakotas sometimes will debate which color goes where depending on their spirit guides. One thing they do agree on, however, is that there are 4 directions. So you take a pinch of tobacco. You can pray in it first and then put it in the cloth and then wrap it up. Or you can wrap it up and pray after it's wrapped. Some people say, well, your prayers are in the tobacco. If you lose even 1 grain while you're wrapping it up, you might lose part of your prayer. So some people say, well, I'll wrap it up first and then pray. And for this time, I pray to Kashala, grandfather, help all those watching this video to learn how to do prayer ties in a fast, efficient, and good way. For we are all related. Takayasi. So you could say your prayer, or you could say them all at the end. So you take your string. Remember the short. I'm holding this in my left hand. I'll do it right-handed, left-handed later. I'm right-handed, but I'll do it left-handed just to show you lefties here how to do it. So you take your prayer tie. Again, what I do, and some people do it different, you take your square, you put the tobacco in, you sort of make a little nest in the center, you pinch it all together, and you give it a little twist so it looks like a little ghost, you see, and you're holding the head of the ghost up. So other people will take it and they'll fold it this way and they'll fold it that way and then they'll fold it in thirds, so you still have your ghost, but it's kind of a square looking ghost. I like a round-headed ghost, so I'll put it in the middle, ball it all up as a bunch, twist it, and there's my little head of the ghost. I take the long end of the string, let's put it over here so we're not confused. The long end of the string, remember to make your loop so that when you look at it, the long end is facing you. Then put it upside down onto your tobacco tie and kind of pull it a little bit. The next one, same way. Make your loop, look at it so you can see the long end going on top, turn it upside down so that the long end is actually ending up on the bottom of that loop, and pull it again, and there is your first tie. The next tie follows, and I'm doing this right-handed, and you may want to even hold this at the same time as you take your next tie. Take your material, you're holding this, put your tobacco in there, maybe with a prayer, get it all closed up nice, take it again, hold it with the string, make your loop again upside down, 1, and I'm rolling it close so I have it a finger width apart, 2. So there's the second one on your string. Take another one, I'll do this 4 times, 4 is a magic number, right? So here's 2 on the string. Long end of the string here. So take your next one, take your tobacco, put it in, make a little ghosty out of it, hold it next to your last one, make 1 loop over it, pull it tight, make 2, pull it tight, roll it toward the other one so you get them about ideally 1 inch apart, unless you are doing omblecha. Omblecha, this 405 of these will surround your entire omblecha area, and you don't want to make them too close together. Even in a Yuipi ceremony or a Lawampi ceremony, which is indoors, that short distance will not cover the area of the altar that is needed. So in that case, make your little tie like this, and instead of getting it so close, put it down a little ways and put a couple of loops on it, and you can see it's farther apart than these 3. And you may even want to make it farther than that. But, you know, maybe usually 1/2 inch to 1 inch apart for most ceremonies, 2 or 3 inches apart if you're making 405 ties for a Vision Quest or a Lawampi or Yuipi ceremony. That's how you make ties. Let's do it the left-handed way for those of you who are lefties. So hold this in your right hand, take your material, hold it, take your left hand, put your tobacco prayer in it, make your little ghost, like that, so that you have the ghost pointing up in your right hand. Take your left hand, make that upside down loop so you can see it. It looks, first of all, like the long end is, you're looking at it crossing over. Put it upside down so that when it goes on, the long end, as you can see, is underneath. There's the first loop. The next one you do the same thing, and there's your second loop, and that's how it is. And you can pull it tight, and you can see it will not come out. The only way this is going to come off is if you pull it too tight and it snaps. So this is how you make a string of prayer ties. Now when you're done, and these prayer ties can be 405, what do you do with them? How do you keep them in order? Well, some people say wrap it around a piece of cardboard or a piece of newspaper. Other people like Vinny like this end that you started with, cut maybe a ½ inch, so cut very short. And then you take it and wind it like a ball of string. You wind it all up like this. And if you do it right, these will not tangle unless you're using crochet thread. Don't do that. And when you unroll them, they unroll very nice with no tangles or knots. Of course, the closer you get them and the nice thick string you use, the easier they are to do this. So get them close for ceremony. Unless you're doing UEP, they can be far apart. And even far apart, they can still be wound like this without cardboard or newspaper. And if you tied them right, they will unwind very easily. So this is how to make prayer ties. If you have any questions, you can email me or ask someone else to show you actually in person. Actually making prayer ties, the knot technique is similar to those of you who knit. If you knit, and this is the knitting needle, you simply what's called cast on stitches. So you make that upside down loop and you cast it on, and you do it again, and you do it again. So you might want to take a knitting needle and practice, because once you're good at it, you can make your loops and your prayer ties very quickly. As you will see, I'll make 4 more just to review. This time I'll do it right-handed. So I'll put that string over here. Iktomi Z was watching me, but I guess he got satisfied and went off someplace. All right, so we'll do the red tie, which is for the north in some traditions. If you're at a Sundance here at my house, they use it as the east sign. We'll put our little 2 loops there, one up, and you can make, some people do this and make it a fancy way. You'll get your own technique to go fairly quickly with these things. So there's 1 loop. Of course, now that I'm doing it and knowing I'm being watched, it's not going right. There we go. So it just takes time. So there's first one. Next we'll do yellow, which for many people symbolizes the direction of the east. Other traditions, it symbolizes directions of the south. There is no one right way to say that this is the papal officially sanctioned direction colors. There is also no one right way to tie prayer ties, but this way that I'm showing you is a pretty efficient way, and it is a pretty solid way where your prayer ties don't fall off the string, because in some ceremonies, if even 1 tie falls off the string, then the ceremony cannot be continued as planned. So they have to check with the spirits and see what they want, because again, it means one of your prayers was lost. These are symbols of your prayers that are going to be offered to the spirits, and the spirits are going to read these by psychometrizing. They're going to go right down the line of these prayer ties and say, okay, this prayer says this prayer says this one wants this one wants this. So the spirits are going to read your prayer ties. They're also going to see if you did what they told you. They'll count your prayer ties. If you have if they asked you to make 405 ties and you've only made 401 or 406 and not the 405, you didn't follow instructions. So who are they to answer your prayers? If you didn't listen to begin with, you're not going to listen later. So here's 5 that are made quickly. Again, you can wind them up like a ball of string, and then later they'll unwind fine without being tangled up. And this is about the width apart, or you could make them a little closer. I made them a little farther because I was talking. But this is how you make your prayer ties and what they mean. So thank you very much for listening, and have a great ceremony.